You stand here today, alone, or at least you think you're alone. In the silence of your thoughts, there's a haunting echo that keeps you company, one that says you're not enough, that you'll never be enough. But let me tell you something, that voice isn't yours. That's the voice of everyone who doubted you, of every person who couldn't see the fire that burns within you. Every time they looked at you, they didn't see what you were capable of. They didn't see your potential, your brilliance. They saw a shadow, a reflection of what they thought you were, not what you are. And so they told you, you'll never make it. You're too weak. You're not cut out for this. But what they didn't know, what they could never know, is that while they were laughing, while they were writing you off, something inside you was growing, something that no one could take from you, something that was always there, quietly waiting for its moment to burst into the light. So yes, they didn't see you. They didn't see what you could do, what you would do, and they still don't. They never will. But now it's too late for them. Now you've moved past them, outgrown their limitations, and the very thing they told you was impossible is unfolding right before your eyes. They thought you were a dreamer, but what they failed to understand is that dreams don't die. They simply wait for the right moment to awaken. They can't stop you anymore. You're on a path they will never understand, and that is your power. You've walked through fire and come out stronger with scars that tell the story of your survival. And now, as they watch from the sidelines, it's clear. What they failed to see is about to be your reality. They've told you time and time again that you couldn't do it, that your dreams were too big, too bold, too unrealistic. They mocked you, laughed in your face when you told them your plans, made you feel like your ambition was a joke. They doubted you because they couldn't see what you saw. They didn't know what you carried inside of you, what was burning just below the surface. The lies they fed you were smooth, package-in-friendly voices, wrapped in love, or at least, that's what they wanted you to believe. Society told you it wasn't the right time. Friends told you it wasn't the right way. Family told you it was too risky, too dangerous. They warned you to stay in your lane, to conform, to accept the limits they set for you. But deep down, you knew something was wrong with their version of reality. They were afraid of your potential, afraid of what would happen if you actually succeeded. You weren't just an individual to them. You were a reminder of everything they chose not to do with their own lives. And so, they pulled you down, trying to keep you in the same cage they were stuck in. They needed you to believe their lies, because if you didn't, it would shatter their comfortable little world. Like a flame smothered under a pile of wet leaves, your potential was hidden, unseen, ignored, buried. But it was always there. It never left. It kept smoldering, waiting for the right moment to ignite, to break free from the suffocating weight of those lies. They thought they could control your future by controlling your mind. They thought they could keep you small by convincing you that you were small. But they were wrong. They will always be wrong. You are not the limits they tried to impose on you. You are not the doubts they planted in your head. They tried to dim your light, but here's the truth. A flame doesn't die because someone tries to smother it. It only grows stronger. And now, you're finally seeing that. They can no longer hold you down. It's too late for them to turn back time, to take back the lies they told you, because now your light is breaking through, and no amount of darkness can put it out. They said it would never happen, didn't they? They told you it wasn't possible, that you were dreaming too big, too loud. They said you didn't have what it took, and somewhere deep inside you believed them. You allowed their words to seep into your bones like poison in your veins. You let their doubts take root in your mind, and for a while you wondered if they were right. You questioned your own strength, your own worth. You wondered if the dream was too much. Maybe they were the ones who knew best, right? After all, they were the experts. They were the ones who knew how the world worked. But that pain, that rejection, that feeling of being ignored, of being dismissed like you didn't matter, it doesn't go away easily, does it? It stays with you, gnawing at the edges of your spirit. It's like being invisible in a crowded room, screaming at the top of your lungs and no one hears you. It's like standing in the rain, drenched in your own frustration, and no one bothers to offer you an umbrella. You've been there. You know that feeling all too well. And for a moment, you let that pain define you. For a moment, you let the weight of their rejection bury you. You let the voices of doubt drown out your own voice. You let yourself believe that maybe you weren't enough. Maybe they were right. But that's where they made their fatal mistake. Because what they didn't understand is that rejection doesn't break you. It shapes you. The pain doesn't destroy you. It forges you into something stronger. And the moment they dismissed you, they planted a seed in your heart. A seed that will grow into a force they can't contain. Because now, you see the truth. Now you understand that the weight of their rejection isn't something to carry, it's something to cast aside. Yes, they said you couldn't do it. Yes, they made you feel small. Yes, they told you that it was never going to happen. But let me ask you this. How many times have you heard the word no? How many times have they told you to give up? How many times have you doubted yourself? And yet, here you are. You're still standing. And that's the part they didn't count on. They thought they could break you, but what they failed to realize is that you were never meant to be broken. You were meant to rise. Every step you've taken on this journey has been a battle against forces that seem unrelenting, relentless in their attempts to pull you back into the darkness. They didn't just tell you no once. They told you no over and over again, at every turn. They doubted you, they undermined you, they made you feel like you were fighting a war with no end in sight, with no real chance of victory. Every no was another boulder thrown in your path, another mountain placed in front of you that seemed impossible to climb. And yet you kept going, even when the weight of their rejection felt like it would crush you, even when their voices echoed in your mind telling you that you'd never be good enough, that you'd never be able to break through. You kept moving forward, but it wasn't easy. It felt like you were crawling through thorns and mud, didn't it? Every step felt heavy, like the ground itself was trying to swallow you whole. Every day was a fight, an uphill battle. The world seemed to push you back, to make sure you stayed down, to remind you of how small you were supposed to be. But you fought anyway. You didn't give up. Every time you stumbled, every time you fell, you got back up. And the struggle, it only made you stronger. The harder the climb, the more fierce your spirit became. You didn't let the obstacles stop you. You learned how to navigate them. You learned how to push through the pain, through the doubt, through the fear. But here's the truth. They never told you how hard it was going to be, did they? They never told you that the road to greatness would be paved with failure, with setbacks, with moments of crippling self-doubt. They never warned you that the hardest battles would be the ones fought inside your own mind. Because in those quiet moments, when everyone else has turned away, you are left with nothing but your thoughts. And sometimes, that's where the real enemy lies. The silence of self-doubt is the loudest noise you'll ever hear. It will tell you that you're not strong enough, that you're too far gone. It will try to break you from the inside out. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still standing. The enemy didn't break you, it made you. Every moment of failure, that was your training ground. Every painful setback, that was your conditioning. The world thought you would fold under pressure. They thought you would quit, but you didn't. You're still climbing. The mountain is high, the path is steep, but you're not the same person who started the climb. You're different now. You're stronger, and with every step, the summit is closer. Every time you tried to move forward, every time you tried to take a step closer to the life you were meant to live, there were those voices, the voices from the outside, the ones that never believed in you, that never saw the same vision you did. Those voices were louder than your own, and it felt like every step you took was met with resistance, didn't it? As if the world itself was pushing against you, trying to knock you down at every corner. They told you your dreams were impossible, didn't they? They told you to be realistic, to accept the limitations they tried to place on you. They questioned every decision you made, scrutinized every choice you took, and every time you tried to rise, to reach higher, they dragged you back down to their level. They said, this path isn't for people like you. You don't belong here. You're not cut out for this. They looked at you and saw nothing but the failures of the past, the shadows of your struggles, the scars of your journey. They saw your vulnerabilities and used them against you. And in those moments, their words hurt the most, didn't they? Because it wasn't just them doubting you, it was the world doubting you. It was the pressure of society, family, friends, all telling you that your dreams were a fairy tale, that you couldn't have what you wanted because you didn't fit their mold, their expectations. But do you know what they didn't understand? What they never could understand? They didn't see the strength in you. They didn't see the fire that burned so brightly within you, the thing they thought they could extinguish with their words. They didn't realize that every no they told you, every time they told you you couldn't do it, only pushed you further. Every doubt they cast was fuel to your fire. Every mockery only strengthened your resolve. So yes, the weight of their rejection, their judgment, their disapproval, it hurt. It weighed on you, sometimes suffocating you, pushing you down into the dirt. But here's the truth they'll never understand. The pressure they put on you, the questions they threw at you, the doubts they sowed, they didn't break you, they forged you. Every word they said, every time they told you that you weren't good enough, you took it and used it to build the strength you carry with you now. And while they were busy telling you that you didn't belong, that you weren't enough, you were quietly, silently proving them wrong. Every step you took, despite their whispers, was a step toward your greatness. They thought they could crush you with their judgments, but instead, they were unknowingly sharpening your edge. Now, you've become the force they can no longer ignore. You fought battles that no one else will ever see. Not just against the world, not just against the voices of doubt from others, but against the most formidable enemy you'll ever face. Your own mind, your own heart, your own fear. There were days when you stood on the edge, teetering between the voice of hope that whispered softly, urging you to keep going, and the voice of despair that screamed in your ears, telling you it was over. You could have given up then. You could have turned back. There were moments when the weight of it all felt too much, when the path ahead seemed too steep, too narrow, too dark, and in those moments you fought the hardest battles of all. Every day you had to wage war against yourself, against the doubts that crept in like poison, against the insecurities that twisted and knotted inside you, telling you that you weren't enough, that you'd never be enough. Every step forward was a battle. Every victory, no matter how small, was a triumph over the part of you that wanted to quit, the part of you that wanted to listen to the voice of defeat. It wasn't easy. You know that. There were nights when you looked in the mirror and saw someone who wasn't sure if they could keep going, someone who was tired, broken, exhausted from the constant fight. You've felt that. You've stood in the quiet of your room, drowning in your own uncertainty, wondering if all the pain, all the sacrifice was ever worth it, wondering if you were fooling yourself by holding on to hope when the world was telling you to let go. But here's the thing, in that silence, in that moment of doubt, you didn't let go. You didn't surrender. You stood there, looking into the eyes of your own reflection, and you chose to fight. Even when every part of you was screaming for rest, for escape, for comfort, you chose to push forward. You chose to face the fear, to confront the insecurities head on. You chose to move through the pain, because somewhere deep inside you knew that the struggle was part of the process. You knew that the fight wasn't just with the world, it was with your own mind. And here you are, you're still standing. You've won battles that no one else will ever see, but you know the strength it took to fight through that darkness, to push past the whispers of your own self-doubt. And now, every step forward feels like a victory, because you're not just fighting the world anymore, you're fighting for the person you know you are becoming. The darkness doesn't last forever, does it? You've been walking through it day after day, fighting battles you never asked for. But now something is changing. You can feel it in the air, can't you? The weight is starting to lift. The fog is beginning to clear. The heaviness that's been holding you down, the doubts that have wrapped themselves around your heart are starting to loosen. For the first time in a long time, you feel a glimmer of something, a flicker of hope, of possibility. It's subtle at first, almost imperceptible, like a whisper that barely brushes the edges of your consciousness. But it's there, and as it grows, so do you. You've been carrying a seed of greatness all along, buried deep beneath the surface. All those years, all that pain, all the rejection, it was never in vain. Everything you've endured, everything you've fought through was preparing you for this moment. The struggles, the frustrations, the internal wars, they were simply the soil that nourished that seed. And now, that seed is starting to sprout. Do you feel it? The shift? The quiet stirring within you, like the first light of dawn breaking through the night sky? This is the moment where you begin to see it. You begin to see yourself for who you truly are, not the person they told you to be, not the person who listened to their doubts, but the person you were always meant to be. For so long, you've been hiding in the shadows, not believing in the greatness that was always inside of you. You've been waiting for permission, waiting for someone to recognize your worth. But now you realize that you don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's validation. You've already got what it takes. The power, the potential. It's been there all along. You've just been blind to it. Now is your moment to step into the light. Now is the time for that seed of greatness to burst forth, to grow tall and strong. It's time for you to claim your destiny. Every battle you fought, every tear you shed, every painful step, it was all part of the process that led you here. And now, as you stand at the threshold of your own awakening, you realize something profound. The struggle wasn't what broke you. The struggle was what made you. This is your turning point. You've found the strength you've been searching for. You've unearthed the power that was buried beneath the weight of their doubts and your own fears. And now, as you rise up from the ashes, there's nothing left to stop you. What they didn't know, what they could never understand, is this. Every time they tried to break you, every time they laughed at your dreams or told you that you were nothing, they weren't pushing you down, they weren't defeating you. No, they were only feeding the fire that was already inside you. They were stoking the flames, fueling your strength in ways they never could have imagined. Each doubt they cast, each rejection they hurled your way, was like adding another log to the fire. At the time, it felt like they were trying to destroy you, didn't it? It felt like they were slowly smothering you, pushing you into the ground, burying you under their expectations. But now you see the truth. Every single blow they landed only made you stronger. You've been forged in the flames of their doubt. You've been tested and tempered, shaped by the very forces that tried to destroy you. You are not the same person who started this journey. You are someone entirely different, someone stronger, more resilient, more powerful. You've survived everything they threw at you, and you're still standing. What they couldn't see was the power in you. The power that was waiting for the right moment to rise up, to break free from the chains they tried to wrap around you. Now, you realize something. The pain, the struggle, the endless battles, they were not obstacles to your success. They were necessary. They were the furnace in which your true self was forged. Without them, you wouldn't be who you are today. Without the fire, the pressure, the strain, you would have never realized the depth of your own strength. You see it now, don't you? The struggle wasn't a curse. It was a gift. It was the thing that unlocked the potential within you, the thing that forced you to awaken the power you didn't even know you had. And now, as you stand on the other side of it, you're not just alive. You're alive with purpose. You are stronger now than you've ever been, and they'll never understand the depths of your power. You've made it through the hardest part of your journey, and now there is nothing standing in your way. You are unstoppable. You are a force to be reckoned with. You've been forged in the flames and you've come out. This is your moment. This is your chance. The world has underestimated you, dismissed you, laughed at your dreams. They've told you you couldn't, that you weren't capable, that you should just settle for less. But now, it's too late for them to stop you. All the rejection, all the doubt, all the attempts to hold you down, they've only made you strong. They've only prepared you for what comes next. And now, you stand at the threshold of your future, ready to claim everything that's rightfully yours. Do you feel it? The weight that once held you down is gone. The chains that once bound you have been shattered. You're no longer the person they tried to create. You're no longer the version of yourself that they tried to mold into something small, something weak. You are something more. You are someone who's been through the fire and emerged with a power they could never imagine. So now, what are you going to do with it? You know what you're capable of. You know that you're stronger than they ever thought. And this is your time. This is the moment when you stop waiting for permission, when you stop looking for validation from people who will never understand your journey. You don't need them anymore. You never did. It's time to stand tall. It's time to move forward with the confidence that comes from knowing who you are, knowing what you've overcome, and knowing that you are destined for something greater than what they ever imagined for you. The world can reject you all at once, but you're beyond their rejection now. You've found your power. You've found your purpose, and nothing can take that away from you. This is it. This is your moment to rise. No more hiding, no more doubting. The world has tried to break you, but now you break free. You take control of your destiny. You walk forward with the strength of every struggle you've survived, with the fire of every battle you've won. You are no longer the person they tried to silence. You are the person they should have feared all along. The time for waiting is over. The time for proving them wrong is now. You have everything you need to succeed. Now, it's time to make them see what they never believed in. It's time to show the world who you really are. And you know what? It's too late for them to stop you. Now, when they look at you, what do they see? Do they see the dreamer they once dismissed? The naive fool who dared to believe in something bigger than themselves? The person they tried to crush with their doubts and fears? Or do they see something else now? Do they see the warrior who walked through the storm, who didn't just survive? Do they see the force who rose from the ashes of their rejection, who took every setback and turned it into fuel for the fire? The truth is, they can't see you for who you really are. They can't understand the transformation that's taken place. They can't comprehend the strength that's been born from your struggles, because they were never meant to be a part of your journey. They were never meant to define your worth. They might look at you and feel the weight of their own disbelief, their own guilt. They might try to act like they always believed in you, try to claim some part of your success as their own. But deep down, you know that they never saw the warrior within you. They never saw the power in your heart. And now, they can't do anything about it. You've crossed the threshold. You've broken through the barriers that they tried to place around you. And now you stand on the other side of their doubt, their ignorance, their limitations, and you're no longer bound by their vision of who you were supposed to be. You are who you were always meant to be, a force of nature, a person who will not be stopped, who will not be silenced. When they see you now, they see someone who has evolved, someone who turned every no into a stepping stone, every failure into a lesson. They see someone who has found their purpose, their voice, their power, and they know now in the pit of their stomach that they underestimated you. But it's too late for them. You've moved beyond their judgment, beyond their reach. The time for their doubts has passed. Now, it's your time. You've earned your place in this world, and no one can take that away from you. The question isn't what they see when they look at you anymore. The question is, what will you see when you look at yourself? Because, my friend, when you look at yourself now, you'll see a person who has conquered the impossible. You'll see a person who has risen, and that person is unstoppable. The world may have tried to silence you, but it is you who will define your future. You've walked through the fire, and now you are the flame. They didn't see your potential. They never understood it. They looked at you and saw only what they wanted to see. The dreamer, the failure, the one who would never rise. They thought their doubts would bury you. They thought their fears would keep you small. They underestimated the force that was quietly growing inside of you, the fire that could not be extinguished by their negativity, their judgment, or their limitations. But now it's too late. The villain, their doubts, their fears, and the people who tried to hold you back has no power anymore. They no longer control the narrative. They no longer control your future. You've broken free from the chains they tried to wrap around you, and now nothing can stop you. Do you feel it? The power coursing through your veins? The weight of all your victories? The world is watching you now. They are witnessing the transformation, the triumph that no one believed was possible. And as they look at you, they realize what they failed to see before. You are not the person they thought you were. You are not the one who would fade into the background. You are not the one who would quit when the going got tough. You are the one who fought, who endured, who thrived. And now the whole world will know. The villain, whether that was their doubts or their mockery or their rejection, has no power anymore. They've been defeated by the very thing they thought they could break. Your resilience, your strength, your refusal to be anything less than unstoppable. They might have tried to hold you back, but in the end, they only propelled you forward. And now you're standing on the other side of their doubt, victorious. So take a moment, stand tall, breathe it in. This is your moment, and the villain has no place in it anymore. The world may have once tried to silence you, but now it must listen. And all those who doubted, they'll have to watch as you take your place among the greats, as you soar beyond what they ever imagined. You are unstoppable, and nothing will ever change that. This is your victory, your time, your rise from the ashes. And as you move forward, the only thing left to ask is, what will you do next? Because the future, it belongs to you. You are the creator of your future. You are the architect of your destiny, the force that will change everything. Everything you've been through, everything you've endured, it has all led you here, to this moment, to the realization that you are capable of far more than they ever believed. They didn't see it. They didn't see the greatness that was quietly building inside you, the power that was waiting for the right moment to break free. But now they will never be able to ignore you again. No more hiding, no more doubting, no more letting others define your worth. You've been holding back, haven't you? Holding back the fullness of your potential because you've been waiting for someone else to recognize it, waiting for permission, waiting for validation. But you've realized something now, haven't you? You don't need anyone's approval to unleash the greatness within you. You've always had it. It's always been there, just waiting for you to claim it. Now you have no excuses. The limits that were once imposed on you are gone. The chains of doubt and fear are broken, shattered by the force of your own will. You are no longer the person who is held back by others' expectations. You are the person who is going to surpass them all. This is your time to break through. This is your time to soar. This is your time to push beyond every limitation they placed on you, every ceiling they tried to set for you. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to be contained. You are a force of nature, and it's time to let that power flow. You've fought hard for this. You've paid the price, and now it's time to reap the rewards. Your dreams are no longer out of reach. They're right in front of you, waiting for you to claim them. You are stronger than you've ever been. You are wiser. You are more resilient. And most importantly, you are unstoppable. So what's next? What will you do with the power you now possess? The world is waiting. They may not have believed in you before, but they will believe in you now. And when they see you rise, they will be forced to acknowledge the force of nature that you have become. You are the creator of your future. You are the one who will change everything. Nothing can stand in your way. This is just the beginning. Go, step forward with confidence. Embrace your greatness, because the world has no idea what's coming next. They didn't see you before, but now you're here, and nothing will ever be the same again. You are not the person they thought you were. You are not the one they dismissed, the one they tried to silence, the one they believed would fade into the shadows. No, you are the one who will rise above. You are the one who will shatter the chains they tried to place on you, the ones they thought would keep you small, keep you confined to their narrow vision of who you could be. You've always had the potential. the strength, the power, the fire. But for so long, it was hidden beneath the weight of their doubt, beneath the shadows of their limitations. You've been through the storms, through the fires, and now you are no longer the person they imagined. You are a new creation, a force that cannot be ignored, a person who has finally stepped into the greatness that was waiting to emerge all along. Your potential didn't just appear overnight. It was always there, waiting for the right conditions to rise. It was waiting for the moment when you would decide that enough was enough, that you were done listening to the voices that tried to hold you back. It was waiting for you to realize that you are in control of your own destiny, that no one, no person, no fear, no doubt could ever limit you unless you allowed them to. Now you are standing on the other side. You are standing at the pinnacle of everything you've worked for, everything you've fought for, and as you look ahead, there is only one thing left to do. Rise. Rise to the greatness that's been within you all along. Rise above the people who never saw you, who never believed in you. Rise higher than you ever thought possible. And as you rise, remember, this is just the beginning. The world will never be the same, and neither will you. You are the one who will change everything. You are the one who will rewrite the story. This is your time, and there is no force in this world that can stop you now. Now, go. Go out and show the world that their doubt means nothing. Their disbelief, their mockery, their attempts to hold you back, none of it matters anymore. You are your own future. You are your own hero, and the world is waiting for you to claim what's rightfully yours. The journey that brought you here was never easy. It was filled with obstacles, challenges, and moments where you thought giving up was the only option. But you didn't. You didn't give in. You pushed through. You fought, and now you stand here as a testament to your own strength. So now, it's time. It's time to take everything you've learned, everything you've fought for, and turn it into something greater than even you imagined. The world may have underestimated you, but now it will have no choice but to watch as you rise higher than they ever thought possible. Go. Don't wait. Don't hold back. Show them that their doubts have no power over you. Show them that you are a force to be reckoned with, and when they look at you, when they see what you've become, they'll know. You are your own hero. You always have been. Now go. Take your place. The world is yours for the taking. The world didn't see your potential. They didn't see the fire burning inside of you, the strength that was quietly building, the power that would eventually shatter every barrier in your path. They thought you were just another dreamer, another person who would fade into the background. But now it's too late to stop you. You've crossed the line. You've risen from the ashes of their doubt, from the wreckage of their rejection, and what stands before them now, a force they can no longer ignore. A person who will not bend, not break, not settle for anything less than the greatness they were always meant to claim. So take this moment, let it sink in. You are not the person you were when you started. You are stronger, you are wiser, you are more powerful than you've ever been. And now, you are unstoppable. You are the hero of your own story. You have fought, you have struggled, and you have conquered. And the world will see you for who you truly are. They will see the warrior, the dreamer, who defied all odds and turned their doubts into fuel for the fire. Now, step forward, embrace the greatness that is yours. The time for waiting is over. The time for proving them wrong is here. And the only thing left for you to do is rise. The world didn't see your potential, but now it's too late to stop you.